This ship isn't in our records. The Galactic Empire panics as the enemy fleet is erased. The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for centuries. Its fleets were the largest anyone had ever seen. Every corner of known space was mapped, every planet catalogued, every ship registered. Officers in the command towers were used to following orders and looking at records. They believed nothing could surprise them. But today, that belief was about to be tested. Admiral Leon Carter leaned over the control panel, staring at the screen. The sensors had picked up a signal from deep space, far beyond the outer colonies. It was faint at first, a small blip among the usual noise of distant asteroids and comets, but then it moved closer. Slowly, steadily, and it did not respond to any of the standard identification protocols. "Sir," said Officer Kevin Brooks, his voice steady but tense, "the vessel does not match any records. It is not in the archives, not in the active fleets, not even in the old lost logs." Leon frowned. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Double-check the databases. Maybe it is a ship from the early exploration fleets, the ones we thought were destroyed." Kevin shook his head. "I've checked everything. Nothing. It is completely unknown." Other officers in the room began whispering. The Galactic Empire prided itself on knowing every ship that traveled space. An unrecorded ship was not just rare, it was impossible. Leon straightened in his chair. He could feel the tension growing. The command center was quiet except for the hum of machines. He called for a visual scan. The display lit up with the image of the approaching vessel. It was small, almost crude. The hull was smooth but uneven, lacking the sharp symmetry of Imperial ships. It had no visible weapons. No shields flickered, no engines glowed in the usual patterns. Yet somehow it moved with certainty and purpose, heading straight for Imperial space. "It looks unfinished," whispered analyst Claire Mason. She tapped her data pad, checking the energy readings. "The power source doesn't match anything we know. The way it moves through space, it's not using conventional drives." "Report to the council," Leon said. "I want every department ready." "We do not know what this is, and we do not take chances. Send a hailing signal. Tell them to identify themselves." The officers nodded and activated the comms. A clear, firm voice echoed through the bridge, speaking the standard Imperial greeting. It asked the unknown ship to identify itself and provide mission details. The only response was silence. The tension in the command room increased. "They are ignoring us," said Kevin. "Should we prepare weapons?" "Not yet," Leon said. He studied the screen. "We need to understand what we are dealing with first. Firing blindly is dangerous. We might start a war without knowing who we are fighting." The unknown ship continued to approach, slowly but with certainty. It did not dodge the scanners, it did not hide, it did not accelerate. It was calm, like it knew it was untouchable. The officers could not explain it. Energy readings fluctuated, but in ways no one had seen before. It seemed alive, almost aware. "Sir," Claire said, "I've never seen anything like this. The energy output is inconsistent. Sometimes it disappears entirely from our sensors and then it is back." "What do you mean disappears?" Leon asked sharply. "It's like it moves in and out of our reality," Claire said, her eyes wide. "The readings are real, but the ship vanishes and returns. It's not cloaking. It's not holograms. It's something else." Leon rubbed his forehead. He hated being unprepared. For centuries, the Empire had built its power on knowledge. Unknown ships were a threat, yes, but they were usually primitive, damaged, or isolated. Nothing this advanced, or this strange, should exist beyond the borders of Imperial space. "Prepare the intercept team," Leon said finally. "Send a single cruiser. We need eyes on it. We do not attack, we observe, we learn." Within minutes, Captain Lucas Gray took off in the cruiser. His ship glimmered in the dark vacuum of space as he accelerated toward the unknown vessel. The distance closed slowly, almost deliberately. Lucas checked the targeting systems. He had full orders to avoid conflict. His job was to gather information and report back. As Lucas's cruiser approached, the unknown ship remained still in appearance, drifting toward Imperial space as if it had no concern for defenses. Lucas activated visual scans. The image that appeared on his screens made him sit back in disbelief. The ship was small but elegant. It was not like any human-made ship he had ever seen, and it certainly did not match Imperial designs. It looked simple. Smooth surfaces, rounded edges, but the structure felt intelligent. It seemed built for a purpose he could not understand. He tried to hail them again. "Silence. They are ignoring us," Lucas said, frowning. He activated a low-power warning shot meant to signal urgency without causing damage. The energy pulse moved toward the ship. It made contact, but nothing happened. The pulse vanished into the hull as if the ship had swallowed it. The sensors showed no reaction, no heat, no reflection. It was as if the shot never existed. Back in the command tower, Leon and the council watched the readings. Alarms were silent, but unease filled the room. "This is impossible," said an officer. "Nothing can absorb energy like that without being destroyed." Claire leaned forward. "It's not absorbing it, it's neutralizing it or moving it somewhere else. Maybe it exists partly outside our space." The council exchanged worried looks. Leon's jaw tightened. "Prepare defensive formations. Do not engage unless we are attacked. Keep scanners active. I want every ship ready, every officer alert. We do not know what this is, but it is powerful, and it is not responding to diplomacy." Lucas's voice came over the comms again. "Admiral, the ship is not armed, and it is not hostile yet, but it is moving closer. Every move it makes is calm and precise. It is like it knows we are watching, and it does not care." Leon exhaled slowly. He had been through countless battles, but this was different. This was unknown. This was not a threat they could measure with weapons or predict with strategy. It was beyond their understanding. "Report every anomaly," Leon ordered. "Every reading, every fluctuation. I want a full analysis." Claire and her team worked feverishly. They watched as the ship moved. It rotated slightly, adjusting its position but not its course. Energy spikes came and went. It emitted no signals, no signs of life, no weaponry. Yet the crew could feel the weight of its presence. It was alive with purpose, calm with control. Kevin whispered, "I've seen fleets destroyed, planets conquered, systems fall. I've never felt fear like this. And yet it isn't attacking, it's just there." Leon nodded. He felt the same. He had commanded battles and survived ambushes. He had defeated pirates, raiders, and enemy fleets. But this presence was different. It was not fear of destruction. It was fear of the unknown. It was the realization that centuries of knowledge, of control, meant nothing against something completely new. Hours passed. The unknown ship continued its approach. The council debated what to do. Some argued for immediate attack, others for retreat. Leon listened but said nothing. He had made his choice. They would observe. They would learn. They would not strike first. As night fell over the command station, the stars outside seemed brighter, yet somehow the darkness felt heavier. The unknown ship moved closer, a silent reminder that the Empire was not as powerful as it believed. Humanity, or whatever controlled that vessel, was out there, and they had no record, no warning, no treaty. Leon stared at the screen, thinking of centuries of control slipping through his fingers. The ship was a mystery. It was small. It was simple. It was unarmed. Yet in that simplicity it carried a power the Empire could not measure, a knowledge they could not grasp. He whispered to himself, "We may have ruled the stars, but this is something else, and I do not know if we are ready." The unknown vessel drifted closer still, moving into Imperial space, silent, calm, and certain. No one could predict what it would do next. And for the first time in generations, the Empire felt small. The first part of the story ended with tension thick in the air. The unknown ship was near, and the Empire had only one choice: to watch, to wait, and to hope they could understand it before it was too late. The unknown ship moved closer to the edge of Imperial space. The Galactic Empire's Council held emergency meetings, their voices tense. Officers debated what to do. Some argued for a direct attack, others said it could be a trap. Admiral Leon Carter listened quietly, his hands folded on the table. He had never seen anything like this. The ship was not in any records and it ignored all communications. Captain Lucas Gray remained near the unknown vessel in his cruiser. He studied it constantly. Its movements were slow but careful. It did not flee and it did not show aggression. Yet Lucas could feel the weight of its presence. It was like staring at a storm that had not yet begun. He tried hailing again. The cruiser's comms sent a series of standard greetings and warnings. The unknown ship did not respond. Analyst Claire Mason studied the energy readings. "Sir," she said over the comm, "the ship is not using conventional engines. It moves without emitting exhaust or waves. It does not create the usual gravitational disturbances. It's different. Its technology is not ours. It is beyond ours." "Beyond ours," Lucas repeated. He frowned. He had seen alien fleets before, but nothing like this. How can it move without engines, without energy signatures? "I don't know," Claire admitted. "It seems to bend space around it or use energy in a way we cannot detect. It does not attack. Yet it is stronger than anything we have." Back on the Imperial command station, officers worked frantically. Reports from the outer colonies showed the unknown ship drifting near inhabited systems, but it caused no harm. Scouts reported that its presence created strange phenomena. Instruments failed for moments, communications dropped, lights flickered. It was as if the ship was partially invisible to sensors, yet fully present in space. "We cannot wait any longer," said Commander Nathan Price. "If it is a threat, it will strike. We must act before it reaches the colonies." Admiral Leon Carter shook his head. "No," he said firmly. "We do not understand it. We cannot attack blindly. We have one ship near it. We observe. We gather information. That is all. Attacking first could start a war we cannot win." Lucas's cruiser drifted closer. He checked his scanners. The unknown ship's hull was smooth, simple, and unarmed. There were no turrets, no shields visible. Yet the energy readings were high, far above any cruiser he had ever commanded. It was silent, but it carried power in a way he could feel. "I don't like this," said Lieutenant Lisa Turner. She had served under Lucas for years. "It is calm, but too calm. It doesn't respond, but it knows we are here." "I agree," Lucas said. "It's like it is thinking, observing, measuring us. We are not in control." Claire spoke over the comm. "I am picking up fluctuations in space around it. Gravity waves, energy shifts. It's not attacking, but it can move things without touching them. Anything close to it is affected." Suddenly, several Imperial fighters launched from nearby stations, moving toward the unknown ship. They were small and fast, designed to scout and attack. Lucas watched as they approached. The unknown ship made no move to flee or dodge. The fighters fired warning shots. Lasers hit the hull, but the beams vanished on contact, as if absorbed by nothing. The fighters shuddered and stopped moving in mid-flight. Instruments went dark. No explosions occurred. "What is happening?" Lisa exclaimed. "They are frozen." "It is neutralizing them," Claire said quietly. "It is not killing them, just stopping them. We cannot control what it does." Lucas reported to the command station. "Admiral, the fighters are disabled. They are not destroyed, but they cannot move. The ship is doing something we cannot understand." Back on the station, alarms began to sound. The council was in panic. "How can a ship stop our fighters without touching them?" one officer shouted. "This is impossible." "It is not impossible," Leon said quietly. "We just haven't seen it before. That is the difference." The unknown ship moved slowly, closer to Imperial space. It caused no explosions, no radiation spikes, no damage. Yet the Empire's officers felt fear. They realized that centuries of dominance, knowledge, and power meant nothing against something unknown. "Sir," Claire said, "it is scanning us, every ship, every crew member. I can feel it analyzing, understanding. It is not hostile yet, but it knows everything we are doing." "Prepare the fleet," Commander Nathan said. "If it does anything, we attack immediately." Leon shook his head. "No, we wait. We do not attack first. We observe, we learn. We cannot risk a full-scale war with something we do not understand." Lucas's cruiser followed the unknown ship. He tried to study its design, its movements, its structure. Yet the more he looked, the more he realized that he could not understand it. It moved through space as if it was part of space, not separate from it. Its engines were not engines. Its hull was not just metal. It was alive with purpose, calm and precise. Hours passed. The unknown ship drifted closer to inhabited systems. Reports came in of strange phenomena. Communications dropped, sensors glitched, instruments failed. Yet no ships or colonies were harmed. Lucas studied the readings and felt a growing sense of unease. This ship could destroy the Empire without firing a single shot, yet it chose not to. "Sir," Lisa said, "I think it is testing us, seeing how we react. It knows our tactics, our weapons, our weaknesses." "Maybe," Lucas said, "but it is not attacking. Maybe it only wants to be seen, to be understood. Maybe it has a purpose we cannot guess." Back at the command station, Leon watched the fleet reports. The council argued. Some wanted to attack, some wanted to flee. Leon remained silent. He knew that attacking first would be catastrophic. The unknown ship's power was beyond comprehension. He remembered Claire's words. It was not just technology. It was intelligence, awareness, something that could bend the rules of physics. The unknown ship drifted closer to the colonies. Sensors picked up faint signals, but they did not match anything known. It was like it moved partly in another space, another dimension, yet remained in ours. Instruments recorded energy spikes, but nothing destructive. Yet every officer on the bridge could feel the presence, heavy and undeniable. "I have never seen anything like this," Claire said. "It is calm but powerful. It is observing and it is patient. It knows we are weak compared to it." "Weak?" Lucas asked. "We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. We control the stars. How can we be weak?" "Knowledge is power," Claire said, "and it has knowledge we cannot even imagine. That is why we are weak. It knows things we do not, sees things we cannot. It is patient because it does not need to act. Not yet." Lucas looked at the unknown ship on the view screen. It moved slowly, silently, as if it were drifting on purpose, knowing the Empire watched and waited. Yet it did not attack. No weapons fired. No ships destroyed. No signals responded to. It simply existed, calm, precise, and far beyond comprehension. Hours turned into days. The unknown ship approached Imperial space steadily. The Council debated constantly, sending orders and recalling them. Leon remained calm, watching and thinking. He knew the Empire had never faced this before. Nothing in their history prepared them. "We need to know its intentions," Commander Nathan said. "We cannot wait forever. If it reaches the colonies, what then?" "We will wait," Leon said. "We do not understand it. We cannot fight it yet. We observe, we analyze, and we learn. That is all we can do." Lucas's cruiser continued to follow the unknown ship. Every reading puzzled him more. The energy spikes, the gravity shifts, the instruments failing and recovering. Everything defied Imperial science. Yet one thing was clear. The ship was not hostile, not yet. It was something else. Something beyond war, beyond destruction, beyond the Empire. The Council watched reports from the colonies. People were anxious, frightened. Messages came from civilians and scientists, reporting strange lights, instruments failing, stars appearing dimmer for moments. The unknown ship moved silently, observing, testing, yet causing no harm. "Sir," Lisa said to Lucas, "this is like nothing we have ever seen. It is not attacking, but we feel threatened. It does not fire, yet we fear it. It is beyond our control." Yes, Lucas said quietly. It is teaching us a lesson we do not yet understand. As night fell over Imperial space, the unknown ship moved steadily closer. The Empire had never faced the unknown like this before. Centuries of rules, tactics, and weapons meant nothing. It was calm, precise, and impossible to predict. The officers felt fear and awe together. They knew that the next move could change everything. The first day had passed, and the unknown ship had not attacked. Yet the Empire felt the weight of its presence. It was a quiet threat, a silent warning. The unknown ship was not just a vessel, it was something more, something alive with purpose and far beyond understanding. The story of the unknown ship had only begun. The Empire had to wait, watch, and hope that it could understand before it was too late. The unknown ship had drifted closer to the Imperial border for several days. The Empire's officers were growing uneasy. Reports from outer colonies showed no damage, no attacks, yet the presence of the ship caused fear. Sensors failed, communications dropped, instruments glitched. It was calm, precise, and beyond comprehension. Admiral Leon Carter called an emergency meeting with the Council. "We cannot wait any longer," Commander Nathan Price said, pacing the room. "It is too close to inhabited systems. If it wants to act, we are vulnerable." "We still do not know what it can do," Leon said. "We cannot strike blindly. If we attack first, we risk everything. We wait. We observe." "Observe?" Nathan asked, his voice rising. "We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. Our fleets can destroy anything. Do we just let it approach?" "We cannot destroy it with conventional weapons," Leon replied. "Our scouts already failed. Our fighters could not move near it. Our sensors cannot fully read it. Attacking could mean the loss of all our forces." Officer Kevin Brooks spoke up. "Sir, the unknown ship is capable of things we cannot measure. Energy spikes, gravity distortions, instruments failing. These are all signs that it is far beyond our technology." "So what do we do?" Commander Nathan asked. He turned to the Council. "We cannot just stand still. If it reaches the colonies, people will panic. We must act." "We prepare," Leon said. "We gather the fleet, we position ourselves, but we do not fire unless provoked. We need to understand it before we act. Patience is our only option." The fleet was assembled. Hundreds of Imperial warships moved into formation near the approaching ship. Cruisers, destroyers, frigates, all in tight coordination. Every captain waited for orders. Tension was thick in the command centers. This was the first time in centuries the Empire had faced something it could not control or understand. Captain Lucas Gray followed the unknown ship in his cruiser. He studied it carefully. The vessel was still small, smooth, and simple. No weapons were visible, no shields flared, no engines glowed. Yet it moved steadily, confidently, as if it knew the fleet watched and waited. "It is calm, sir," Lieutenant Lisa Turner said. "It does not flee, it does not attack, yet we feel its power." "Yes," Lucas said, "it is testing us. It knows our tactics, our ships, our weaknesses. It is patient, observing, and far beyond our reach." Analyst Claire Mason studied the readings. "Sir, the energy fields around it are fluctuating. It is not using weapons yet, but it can affect our ships from a distance. Anything close to it is vulnerable. It does not even touch them, and yet it controls them." Back at the command station, Leon watched the reports. The Council argued constantly. Some wanted to attack, some wanted to withdraw, some wanted to negotiate. Leon remained calm. He knew that any wrong move could cost the Empire its fleet. The unknown ship drifted closer. The Imperial fleet was ready. All weapons were powered and targeted. The ships formed a wide circle surrounding the unknown vessel. This was a show of force, a test to see how it would react. "We will fire warning shots," Commander Nathan said, "just enough to show strength. If it does not respond, we escalate." "No," Leon said firmly. "Do not fire, we observe, we wait. We do not provoke it. Attacking first could be our destruction." The unknown ship moved steadily toward the fleet. It did not dodge, it did not accelerate, it did not attack. Yet every officer in the command centers could feel the tension, the weight of its presence. It was calm, precise, and fully aware of them. Suddenly, the unknown ship released a pulse of energy. The fleet shuddered. Ships trembled as systems flickered. Weapons went offline. Shields dropped for moments. The pulse moved through space silently. The fleet was frozen in place not by attack but by control. "What is happening?" Commander Nathan shouted. "Why can't we move?" "It is neutralizing us," Claire said quietly. "It is not destroying the fleet. It is controlling space around it. We cannot fight, we cannot move. It is beyond our technology." Reports came in. Entire squadrons of cruisers and destroyers stopped moving. Sensors showed that they were still present, but instruments could not detect them fully. It was as if the fleet had vanished, yet they were still alive. No explosions, no debris, no damage, just nothing. Lucas's cruiser was affected, but he managed to maintain some control. He watched in horror as the unknown ship extended its silent influence. One by one, Imperial ships disappeared from view. Officers could not understand it. The fleet had been erased, not destroyed. It was gone from reality as far as sensors could tell. "Sir," Lisa said, her voice shaking, "entire fleets, they are gone. It is like they were never there." "This is impossible," Lucas whispered. "How can it remove ships without destroying them, without debris, without radiation?" "It is not impossible," Claire said. "We just have never seen it before. It is beyond physics we know. It is intelligence, awareness, and power combined." Back on the command station, alarms blared. Reports poured in from all sectors. Hundreds of ships were gone. Entire fleets erased without a trace. The council panicked. Commanders shouted orders that could not be carried out. The Empire had never faced anything like this. "How can this happen?" one officer yelled. "Our weapons, our shields, our fleets all gone. It is impossible." "It is not impossible," Leon said calmly. "It is beyond our understanding. It is not like anything we have faced. We must accept that. We cannot fight what we cannot comprehend." The unknown ship moved slowly, silently, as if it were inspecting the aftermath. It had not attacked anyone directly. It had not destroyed lives. Yet it had shown the Empire its full power. Hundreds of ships erased in moments, without a trace, without harm. A warning and a lesson. Lucas watched in disbelief. His cruiser was still operational, but he knew the Empire had lost. The unknown ship could erase fleets at will. It could remove warships, stations, even entire squadrons without touching them. The Empire had underestimated it. Centuries of power meant nothing. Knowledge was useless. They were small, weak, and vulnerable. "We have underestimated them," Lisa said quietly. "We thought it was a small, unarmed vessel. We were wrong. It is not small and it is not unarmed. It is beyond our reach." "Yes," Lucas said. "We need to report this to command. The Empire must understand what just happened. We cannot ignore it." Back at the command station, Leon received the report. He studied it in silence. Hundreds of ships gone, not destroyed, not damaged, simply erased. The Empire's fleet was shattered without a fight. The Council panicked, sending messages, demanding answers, ordering reinforcements. Leon shook his head. None of it would work. The unknown ship was beyond all measures. "We must assume they are human," Leon said quietly. "Our records show nothing else could do this. Their technology, their understanding, their control over space, it is beyond anything we know. This is humanity, and we have ignored them for centuries." Commander Nathan stared at him. "Human? But how?" "They are patient," Leon said. "They observe, they test, they act when necessary. We assumed weakness meant inferiority. We were wrong. Humanity is powerful in ways we cannot measure." The unknown ship drifted on, calm and precise, as if it had finished its demonstration. Fleets were erased. The Empire was forced to reconsider everything it knew about power, control, and the human race. No one could challenge them yet, not in conventional ways. The Empire had been shown its limits. Hours passed. The unknown ship did not attack further. It did not destroy colonies. It moved silently, observing, testing, teaching. The Empire had suffered a lesson that would echo for generations. Centuries of power, fleets, and control were meaningless against something beyond comprehension. Lucas and his crew watched the unknown ship. They could not understand it, could not touch it, could not fight it. They realized that the first confrontation was over. The Empire had lost without a single shot being fired. A new era had begun, one in which humanity was no longer weak or unknown. They were a force beyond imagination. The unknown ship moved further into Imperial space, silent, calm, and precise. The Empire had been warned. Fleets had been erased, knowledge had been challenged, and fear had settled in the hearts of every officer. The first confrontation was complete, and the Empire had no choice but to rethink everything. The story of humanity and the unknown ship was only beginning. The Empire had learned a lesson it would never forget. Centuries of pride, fleets, and power meant nothing against something it could not understand. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Imperial Command Center was in chaos. Hundreds of ships had been erased from the records and from reality itself. Alarms rang constantly, messages poured in from outer colonies, and officers shouted orders that could not be carried out. The council panicked, but Admiral Leon Carter remained calm. He knew that the unknown ship's actions were deliberate. It was intelligent, aware, and beyond their technology. "We have to do something," Commander Nathan Price said, pacing the room. "They are moving through our space, erasing fleets, and we cannot fight back. What is their goal?" "We do not know," Leon replied quietly. "But they are not attacking colonies. They are showing strength. They want us to see what they can do, to understand our weakness." Reports came in from Captain Lucas Gray and his cruiser. "Admiral," Lucas said over the comm, "the ship has stopped near our borders. It is not attacking, but it is monitoring us. It is calm, precise, and aware. Every system in our fleet is under its observation." "What do they want?" Lisa Turner asked, her voice tense. "Why erase fleets but not harm civilians?" "I do not know," Lucas admitted. "But it is sending a signal now. It is not a standard hailing signal. It is different. It feels human." The command center froze as the transmission began. The screen showed a calm, simple message. A human voice spoke clearly, with no threat, no anger, only confidence. "This is Captain Ben Harris of the exploratory ship Avenger," the voice said. "We come in peace. Your fleets are powerful, but they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. We have relocated them temporarily to prevent harm. No life was lost. This was a warning, not an attack." The council was silent. Officers whispered among themselves. "Relocated," Commander Nathan repeated. "How can that be? Our fleets erased." "Not erased," Ben Harris continued. "Displaced. We do not destroy life. We do not seek war. We act only when necessary. Humanity avoids conflict but responds decisively when threatened. Your fleets were a threat. Now they are contained safely." Admiral Leon Carter listened carefully. Centuries of pride, control, and power meant nothing compared to this human technology. Humanity had done what no empire could do. They had removed fleets without violence, without death, without destruction, yet left the empire powerless to resist. "So they are human," Leon said quietly. "All this humans. We assumed weakness meant inferiority. We were wrong." "Sir," Claire Mason said, "their technology, their understanding of space, it is beyond anything we know. They can move matter without touching it, erase fleets from our perception, and avoid harm. They are not aggressive, but we are vulnerable." "They have made a point," Leon said, "and we have learned it. Humanity is not a threat in the usual way. They are a force beyond control, beyond weapons, beyond our understanding." The council debated. Some wanted to retaliate, to fire weapons, to strike back. Leon shook his head. "We cannot fight them. We do not know how. Any attack will fail. We must accept the truth. We have been shown our limits." Lucas Gray remained near the human ship. He watched it drift calmly through space. Captain Ben Harris spoke again. "We relocate fleets to prevent unnecessary conflict. We respect life. We do not conquer, we do not dominate, but we defend ourselves. If provoked, humanity acts decisively. Understand this, Galactic Empire. Power without wisdom is nothing. Your fleets are strong, but your understanding is weak." The message ended. The unknown ship drifted silently, waiting, observing, its presence calm and unthreatening. Yet the Empire knew its power. They had seen what it could do. Fleets removed without harm, entire squadrons displaced instantly. Humanity had arrived in imperial space, and it was clear they were far beyond comprehension. "What now?" Lieutenant Lisa Turner asked. "Do we follow? Do we attack? Do we retreat?" "We observe," Leon said. "We learn, we rebuild. We do not provoke them. We have been shown our weakness. We adapt or perish. That is the lesson." The Council slowly accepted the reality. Humanity was no longer a minor species in the galaxy. They had technology beyond the Empire's ability to counter. They could erase fleets, control matter, move through space in ways the Empire could not imagine. Yet they were patient, careful, and precise. They did not destroy. They only demonstrated. Lucas's cruiser maintained a distance. The unknown ship moved steadily, calmly through space. Its sensors monitored the Empire, studying every ship, every crew, every system. Humanity had chosen not to attack, but their presence was enough. The Empire had been humbled, forced to confront a force it could not challenge. "We cannot underestimate them again," Leon said. "We must record, study, and understand. Humanity is not a threat in the usual sense. They are a force beyond comprehension. We adapt or we fail." Back at the colonies, civilians and officers watched the sky and felt awe. The human ship moved through space silently, calm and deliberate. It did not attack, it did not threaten. Yet its mere presence had erased fleets, displaced warships, and taught the Empire a lesson it would never forget. "They have power we cannot fight," Lisa said. "Yet they are not aggressive. They only protect themselves." "And that is enough," Lucas said. "That is what makes them dangerous. Not war, but control. They act only when necessary. They show restraint. And yet we are powerless against them." Admiral Leon Carter reviewed reports. The Empire had been shown the limits of its knowledge. Humanity had arrived quietly, without warning, without conquest, and had demonstrated their superiority without violence. Centuries of empire, fleets, and control meant nothing. The lesson was clear. Strength alone does not make one dominant. Wisdom, understanding, and restraint could be far more powerful. The unknown ship remained in imperial space for several days. It moved slowly, observing, monitoring, teaching. No further fleets were displaced, no colonies harmed. Humanity had proven its point and waited for the Empire to comprehend it. Captain Lucas Gray reported again. "Admiral, they are leaving our borders. They do not attack, but they watch. Humanity is patient, precise, and far beyond us. We cannot predict them. We cannot fight them. We only learn. And that is enough," Leon said. "We have learned our limits. We will rebuild, but we will never forget. Humanity is here, and they are beyond our comprehension. They are not invincible, but they are beyond ordinary challenge. That is the truth we must accept." As the unknown ship drifted back into deep space, the Empire began to reassess everything. Fleets would be rebuilt, systems reinforced, but the lesson remained. Humanity was no longer a minor species. They were a force beyond prediction, a civilization that could erase fleets without harm and teach lessons the Empire could not ignore. "Remember this," Leon said quietly. "They do not seek war, but they respond when necessary. Strength alone does not guarantee victory. Wisdom, patience, and precision can surpass fleets, weapons, and centuries of power. We have seen it. We have learned it. We will never forget it." The unknown ship disappeared into the darkness of space. The Empire was left to record, study, and reflect. Fleets would be restored, colonies would resume life, but the memory of humanity's power remained. The empire had been humbled, forced to confront a force it could not challenge, a lesson that would shape strategy, diplomacy, and defense for generations. For Captain Ben Harris and the human ship, the demonstration was complete. Fleets were relocated, no life was lost, and the empire had been shown its limits. Humanity had arrived in imperial space, not as conquerors, but as a force to be respected. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The empire slowly began to understand. They had faced humans before, in small ways, but never like this. Centuries of ignoring or underestimating them had ended. Now, humanity was no longer a minor species. They were a civilization beyond prediction, a force beyond comprehension. And the empire would never forget the day their fleets vanished without a trace, leaving them to face a truth they could not fight. Humanity was here, and they were far stronger than anyone had imagined. Peace returned to the colonies, though officers and civilians alike knew that the memory of the human ship would linger forever. Fleets had been displaced, but the lesson remained. The empire would never again underestimate humanity, nor would they ignore the quiet power that could erase fleets, move through space silently, and act with precision beyond understanding. Admiral Leon Carter stood on the observation deck, staring at the stars. He knew the empire had survived, but it had been taught humility. The unknown ship was gone, but its presence had changed everything. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy had been shown a new kind of strength. The empire would rebuild, but they would do so with caution. Humanity was patient, precise, and far beyond prediction. And as Leon watched the stars, he knew that the lesson would remain forever. Strength without understanding is nothing, and humanity had proven it beyond doubt. The unknown human ship had drifted far into deep space, leaving the imperial fleets and colonies behind. Yet its presence was still felt. Officers and civilians alike spoke of it in whispers, of the calm, precise vessel that could erase fleets without firing a shot. The Galactic Empire had survived, but its pride had been shaken. Centuries of dominance, fleets, and power were nothing compared to the force they had witnessed. Admiral Leon Carter called the council together once more. "We have survived," he said quietly. "Our fleets have returned, our colonies are safe. But we have learned a truth we cannot ignore. Humanity is here, and they are far beyond anything we have faced." Commander Nathan Price shook his head. "They did not attack, yet they erased fleets. They did not kill, yet they demonstrated power beyond comprehension." "How do we deal with a species like that?" "With caution," Leon said. "We rebuild, we strengthen, we observe. We do not challenge them. Any aggression will fail. Any attempt to dominate them will fail. We adapt or we perish." Captain Lucas Gray returned to the command station after following the human ship as far as he could. He reported every detail of what he had seen: the calm movement, the silent power, the displaced fleets. He explained that humanity acted decisively only when necessary, and that their restraint was as dangerous as their power. "They do not seek war," Lucas said, "yet they respond when needed. Their technology is beyond anything we know, and their understanding of space is complete. We cannot predict them, we cannot fight them, we can only learn." Analyst Claire Mason nodded. "We have been shown the limits of our knowledge. Humanity is not just strong. They are precise, patient, and wise. We cannot measure their power in the usual ways. It is beyond weapons, beyond fleets, beyond strategy." The council began to reconsider everything. Centuries of empire, of fleets and records had not prepared them for this. Humanity had arrived quietly, yet they had changed the balance of power. The empire would need to rethink its strategies, its laws, and its assumptions about what strength truly meant. "We will issue new orders," Leon said. "All unidentified vessels are to be treated with caution. We will not assume weakness. We will not attack first. We will observe and study. Humanity has shown us that knowledge is more powerful than weapons alone. Outside the command center, civilians watched the stars and wondered. The story of the human ship spread quickly. No one had seen a species move through space with such power, restraint, and intelligence. Humans were no longer a minor presence in the galaxy. They were a force to be respected, a civilization beyond prediction, and their actions had left a permanent mark on the Empire. Captain Ben Harris's transmission had ended, but its effects continued. Humanity had acted as a warning, not a conqueror. Fleets were displaced, not destroyed. Lives were untouched, yet the Empire had been humbled. The lesson was clear: underestimate humans at your own peril. Admiral Leon Carter studied the reports of the displaced fleets. They had not been harmed. Engineers and crews were safe, held in containment zones, and would return when the humans deemed it appropriate. The Empire realized that the humans valued life and avoided unnecessary conflict, yet they could enforce their will when necessary. They are not invincible, Leon said, but they are beyond ordinary understanding. They can erase fleets without harm. They can control space in ways we cannot measure. We must respect that. We must learn that. Commander Nathan Price looked at him. And if they return, we will be ready, Leon said. Not with weapons alone, but with knowledge, caution, and humility. The galaxy has changed. Humans have arrived, and we must adapt or fail. Captain Lucas Gray thought about what he had seen. The humans had power, but they had restraint. They had acted decisively, but not cruelly. They had demonstrated their abilities, but left the Empire alive. It was a lesson in strength, in strategy, and in wisdom. The human ship had left a mark that could not be erased. Their lesson is clear, Lisa Turner said. Power alone is not enough. We must understand, observe, and act wisely. They showed us what strength really means. And that is what makes them dangerous, Lucas replied. Not violence, but control. Not conquest, but understanding. They act when necessary, but always with precision. That is why we could not resist them, and why we cannot underestimate them again. The Empire began to rebuild its fleets and stations, but the memory of the human ship remained. Officers trained differently, studied new strategies, and observed space with new caution. The colonies were reinforced, but they also studied human technology, energy signatures, and methods of movement. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy could no longer ignore them. In the council chambers, Leon addressed the leaders. We will strengthen our fleets, yes. But we will also strengthen our knowledge. We will observe the stars, study anomalies, and learn. Humanity has shown us that wisdom, restraint, and precision can surpass fleets, weapons, and centuries of power. We must never forget this lesson. Outside, civilians watched the stars. Rumors and stories spread of the calm, silent human ship that had erased fleets without harm. Children and students listened in awe. Humanity was no longer distant or minor. They were a civilization that could act decisively, understand space in ways the Empire could not, and enforce their will without cruelty. As the unknown human ship drifted into deep space, it left the galaxy forever changed. The Empire had been humbled. Fleets were displaced, not destroyed. Lives were preserved, yet the Empire had learned its limits. Humanity had arrived, and their presence would shape the galaxy for generations. Captain Ben Harris and his crew had completed their mission. The fleets were safe, the colonies unharmed, and the Empire humbled. Humans had shown restraint, power, and intelligence beyond comprehension. The galaxy would remember this day. The Empire would remember. And humanity's quiet but decisive arrival would leave a permanent mark on history. Admiral Leon Carter stood on the observation deck of the command station. He watched the stars, thinking of the human ship. It had not attacked, it had not destroyed, yet it had left the Empire powerless to resist. Centuries of knowledge, fleets, and power had been meaningless against a species that combined wisdom, patience, and technology beyond their understanding. "They do not seek war," Leon whispered, "but we would be foolish to challenge them. Humanity has shown us what strength really means, and we will remember." The council implemented new strategies, new protocols, and new orders. All unidentified vessels were to be treated with caution. Fleets would be rebuilt, but with the understanding that humanity's technology and power were beyond prediction. The Empire had learned its lesson. Strength without wisdom was nothing, and humans had proven it beyond doubt. As the unknown ship disappeared into the distance, the Empire reflected on its survival and its limits. The galaxy had changed. Humans were no longer minor. They were precise, patient, powerful, and wise. And the Empire would never forget the day fleets vanished without a trace, leaving only a lesson in the stars. Humanity was here, and they were beyond reckoning. Colonies returned to normal, fleets were restored, and life continued. Yet every officer, every soldier, and every civilian knew that the galaxy had changed forever. Humans had arrived, and their quiet power had reshaped the Empire's understanding of strength, knowledge, and restraint. The Empire had survived, but it had been humbled, forced to confront a force it could not challenge and could not fully understand. The stars stretched endlessly before the Empire, and somewhere in that vast space, humans continued their work. Exploration, observation, protection. They did not seek war, but they acted decisively when necessary. Their lesson was clear: respect humanity or face consequences beyond measure. And so the Galactic Empire learned to watch, to wait, to understand, and to respect. Humanity had arrived, fleets had been displaced, and the galaxy had been shown that strength alone was meaningless. Wisdom, restraint, and precision were far more powerful. The Empire would rebuild, adapt, and survive. But it would never forget the humans who had erased fleets without harm and taught the galaxy a lesson it would carry for generations. The human ship moved on, silently, steadily, and deliberately, leaving only its mark on the Empire and the stars. And as the Empire looked to the future, it knew one thing for certain: humanity was a force beyond reckoning, and the galaxy would never be the same again.